And a cooperative farming society has brought new farming initiatives to a community in Nasarawa State, complementing efforts of the federal government. Arise correspondent Abel Ejikeme reports on how these initiatives are changing the lives of rural dwellers in the state.
It was once an obscure community, highly impoverished and notorious for its kidnappings, executed by its young jobless people. Today, the story is different in Gate community here in Nigeria's Nasarawa State. Come along as we explore how the Nigerian Farmers Group, a cooperative farming society, is raising the living standard of people in this community.
A group of 6 people had reached an agreement with the community to secure part of their land to kickstart a cooperative farming model. That number has since increased, with the cooperative now having 3,000 registered members. Ibrahim Labaran is the head of the Gate community. He explains how the coming of the group has lightened the district, providing jobs for more than 300 locals.
It's not only Gate people benefited from this farm. Many people from Gate, from around those areas, Babusabangida, Garauku, Ikefi, many people benefited from this farm. Before, Gate people, even the local government chairman cannot, no access road to come to Gate. But now, Gate, there is a road. This farm work on the road. Even primary school, there is no primary school. Our boys there for bush here. But now we have a primary school, and I think the governor have visited this Gate. And many, even ministers visited this Gate, and by president visit this Gate. So we have benefited a lot. Even this NEPA, now the village have light. So we have many things. So we have benefited from the coming of this farm to this village.
Jobs are not the only opportunity offered to locals. The farm settlement serves as home to some. John Anzako is the chief carpenter of the farm. He built all the structures in the settlement and has also built his home.
I entered here in 2017, working with them and achieved many things from this NFGCS because it's the place that I'm working and it's the place that I'm eating, it's the place that I'm feeding my children and also paying their school fees.
Next is the rice farm. With the ongoing rice revolution in the country, more than 450 hectares is being cultivated. It's believed that never in the history of the country has Nigeria witnessed an aggressive approach to rice production, with a commitment to be self-sufficient in rice production.
This is nature at its best. A rice processing machinery locally fabricated by Nigerian experts with assistance from locals here in Gate community. Nigerian-made rice are processed here.
Getting here, we were asked to take off our shoes to avoid specks of dirt.
This is the pre-cleaner to clean up the rice, and we are having the destoner to destone the rice and the dehusker to take out the chaff of the rice.
Occupying a 3,000 hectares of arable land, this farm settlement can best be described as a rural grazing area. Farmers have their crops and birds flourishing while herders have fresh grass and water for their cattle. There are more than 6,000 cows in the open and indoor ranches, and for the herders, it's safer keeping their cattle in ranches.
I think it's better keeping them in the ranch than taking them outside. In the first place, because they have everything they want here. They have the best treatments. There's a dam around where they drink their water from. There's food around the farm. Because of that, there's no point taking them around because we have been educated on how we can feed our cows without taking them far away from the farm. Besides, there's threats out there from rustlers and other threats.
How was this feat achieved? Coordinator of the cooperative explains the agreement reached with Fulani herders in the community.
We sat down with the Zaki, sat down with the emirs and said, look, we are willing to build a farm settlement center that will take care of the interest of everybody. But everybody must be willing to give something to be able to access anything. And we sat down with the Fulani, the elders, the head of the Fulani communities, the Zaki and everybody. And then they agreed that these are going to be the modus operandi. If your cow encroach on anybody's farm, we'll assess the damage and you pay. That's one. Two, if there's any form of attack around 2-3 kilometers from the place, from the farm, center of the farm, up to 5 kilometers, we are going to figure out which location did the attack take place. And if it is known that any Fulani community is involved, the community agree that they're going to banish, are going to chase them out of the place.
A former militant, Tedheke says he is transforming the Fulani industry into an economic opportunity for the people rather than a problem for the state. He proffers solutions to the incessant farmers-herders clashes and seeming problems faced by local farmers.
You know that the lake Chad is drying up. So if you like pray on top of this matter, you know they work. Because you know that every year, animals and men are going to be migrating what? Down south, where the vegetation is better. There is nothing you can do about it. So what do? The north central becomes a corridor. From Kwara to Benue and Enugu on the east, Kwara in the west to Benue, and then you set up government-controlled ranches along that belt. So as cows are migrating from the north, what are you doing? You warehouse them in most of these government-controlled ranches. Now, when you warehouse them here, you stop them from going down south, and then you can cultivate.
There are plans by the cooperative to replicate this farm settlement in other parts of the country. If this is done, it's believed that insecurity occasioned by clashes between herders and farmers in the country will be cut down to the barest minimum. Abel Ejikeme, Arise News.
Abel Ejikeme, thank you for that report. Very, very incisive and very, very educative. What herders clashes, although you've done that in Nasarawa State, are you coming up with plans to probably submit this proposal to the government to see it replicated even faster beyond what you can do in your cooperative? So that way we see an end to the killings of the farmers and even the rustling of the cattle of the herdsmen. Retson?
Thank you so very much for having me. It's an honor to be here with you. Now, yes, this can be replicated in every local government of this country. Because the reality is this. A Ruga, a farm settlement center, is where you pool people, resources, and information together for the greater good of the Nigerian farmer. Look, if we are interested in solving this security challenge, the first thing we do is to ensure that what you have in Nasarawa State, that is employing 300 people, during the cultivation time like this, we're employing over 500, that has about 30 Fulani herdsmen, with 7 Fulani communities inside the farm, can be replicated, where you have a section for cattle, you have a section for rice processing, you have a section for garri processing, you have a section for maize flour, you have a section also for poultry. Now, everybody can do business within about 1,000 to 2,000 hectares, and there is a lot of land in the north. When you do this, you create an agro-economic zone. The agro-economic zone has several benefits. Like I said earlier, you will ensure that insecurity is reduced because the youths that are being recruited by Boko Haram, the youths that are being recruited by bandits and kidnappers, are youths that don't have jobs. Rural Nigeria is supposed to become a gold mine of opportunities for Nigeria. There must be a process of urban rural migratory program where we move youths from urban area to rural area. But the place must be interesting for them to make it viable, to be interested in coming in. Agriculture must be sexy. So you come to the farm, there is a volleyball court. You come here, there's a basketball court, there's a football court, there's a table tennis court, table tennis board. You also have what you call a snooker board. And it's so interesting that the Fulanis have their own satellites, the ranch have their own satellites, the poultry have their own satellites. So every section of the farm is actually connected with information. You have central wireless service available. You have, like the report said, you have a dam available. We built a dam of about 500 million metric cubic liters of water. And then you have electrical power services. Once you have all of this in place, I can assure you, you are going to have economic benefits, you are going to have social benefits, you are going to have cultural benefits, and then you are going to have, more importantly, a peaceful environment where farmers can thrive, herders can thrive, the community will be peaceful. So yes, it can be replicated, and we are happy to also announce that the Nasarawa State government is engaging us to set this up in 2 other local governments. The Minister of State for Agriculture, Chehuri, said they are going to ensure that we meet with most of the commissioners of agric in all of the states so that state can begin to look at practical solutions. You don't need to invite foreigners to come in and provide solution to our own local problem. The local problem is that we have land. The local problem is that we have a population. And the local solution is you must use agriculture to provide jobs and employment opportunity for our people. We must stop complaining of hunger. We must stop complaining of lack of food and lack of jobs. Let us look at the Chinese model. Let us look at the Asian model, who started a cultural revolution that was premised on China first, Asia first, and all of these units. And that is exactly what we're willing to do. Thank you very much.
Fantastic submission there, Retson. I mean, particularly looking at your own track record, you understand, to come in with these massive initiatives. Apart from, you know, the state, Nasarawa State government, I say you should replicate this in 3 other local governments, like a pilot project again for them, and the Minister of State saying, look, we're going to gather the 36 state commissioners in charge of agriculture and rural development. What kind of support is this cooperative society getting first from the Central Bank of Nigeria? Don't forget they have a gargantuan program for agriculture, I would say, then as well as the Bank of Agriculture. What kind of cooperation have you been getting?
I am going to go out of my way to appreciate the central bank and to appreciate the federal government. And this is why. We applied for the commercial agri-credit scheme in 2017. This year, the farm got the support of over 700 million from the central bank to support what we are doing, because the entire project is a local content initiative. Now, the issue is this, and I'm going to be able to put it on air, is that it must become easier for young Nigerians like myself. Of course, I'm not that young. I'm 45 now, going to 46, so I'm not a young Nigerian. To make it easier for young Nigerians to be able to access these facilities. Because the truth is, when it is only the federal government and the central bank that are actually putting their money where their mouth is, and majority of our states are not looking at this initiative, then we are not going to solve the problem of insecurity. We are not going to solve the problem of employment and the problem of hunger in the land. Because the question I've always asked is simple. How is it? I'm an honorable man from the Niger Delta. I'm an honorable headsman anyway today, but I'm an honorable man from the Niger Delta. How is it that Delta State, with the capacity of producing enough palm oil for the whole of Africa, is not doing enough, and Nigeria have to import palm oil today? How is it that Gary, that is our own, in short, it's like a birthright for us to say, now we get Gary? How is it that we're importing Gary from places like Togo or other countries? How is it that we're beginning to import egusi soup from China? There's some, look, like I always say on social media, we want well at all for this country. So the reality is that while the central bank is making the effort, and as we speak, also we're also engaging with also the central bank and other government agencies to ensure that paddies are supplied to the farm, because now we can process them. To ensure that soya beans and maize also come to the farm, because what we are even farming on our over 1,000 to 3,000 hectares is not enough for our processing plant. So that because we have a feed mill where we produce the feed also for the poultry. Now, government needs to do more. Now, if you take out the federal government, if you take out the central bank rather, the question is how many people at the state level and at the local government level understand that until and unless a local government are developed in an agrarian mode, where all you are thinking about is how to put the people in rural Nigeria into real employment. Look, it is not, we should stop talking about jobs that are not viable. White collar jobs are not there as they used to be. Unemployment all over the world is skyrocketing. When you are not productive, unemployment becomes an issue.
Retson Tedheke would have really loved to go on with you. Maybe we'll look for our other platforms, you know, for him to come on and the rest, you know.
Well
but great job,
Absolutely.
you're doing. Retson Tedheke is the coordinator of the Nigerian Farmers Group and Cooperative Society.
Nigeria has to grow what we eat, really.
Absolutely.